Tom. How you doing today? This is not the smartest guys in the room. I see Tom. He's looking handsome as ever. How are you doing, Tom? Tom, will you be sad someday if I said, Tom's, if you come on, Tom doesn't look all right
Ugh.
today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. What happened to Tom? Why does he look
something.
like
Yeah,
that?
Tom, but
Yeah, I mean, I mean, who wouldn't be unhappy to hear someone say that about them, right? But I appreciate it. You're looking good as always. Hair is
yeah,
well
yeah.
coiffed, and you're looking tan, holding on with a white knuckling, holding on to that summer tan for
I'm
as long
trying.
as you
I'm trying, man. It's going to be hard here with that September fall coming in. Uh, the sun's a little cooler, not getting my maximum. My daughter always tells me about UV. Is it certain UV rays or like a certain time of day? She's like, oh, UV quality is no good, but I'm not sure that's what she's saying, but something like that.
Well, I mean, the UV intensity is higher at different times of day, right? So, like, it's lower in the morning. It's basically the like the UV intensity where we are sort of like in the northeast US, like northern hemisphere, right? Um, it depends on the angle of the sun, right? So, like in the early morning and in the evening, late afternoon, when the sun is at a steeper like angle, i.e., getting closer to sunrise, close to sunrise, closer to sunset, more of the UV kind of bounces off the atmosphere and doesn't get to us, right? But as the sun gets more overhead, more of the UV gets through the atmosphere, it gets to us, and it's more intense, right? And the UV is what gives you a sunburn, right? And also what triggers the increased production of melanin in your skin, which is what a tan is, right? So yeah, so the angle of the sun does make a difference.
I've always taught myself that a tan was when angels kiss your skin and make it perfect. That in my world, it's tiny angels kissing my skin and giving me this nice complexion.
It sounds like a weird adaptation of oh God, and I almost said A Christmas Story, and it's not the right movie. What's the Christmas movie with the every time a bell
A
rings?
Wonderful Life.
A
Remember?
Wonderful
Yeah,
Life. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It sounds like a weird adaptation of the line from A Wonderful Life. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. It's like every time I get a little bit more tan, it's because angels are kissing my skin. I don't. That is
yeah.
that is a unique. That's a Dom Domasky original, I think, right there.
Hey, I'm just trying it here for the first time. My friend Jimmy already sent me a message. He said that I'm creepy. Hey, all right. Well, let's move on. Not the smartest guys in the room. We're talking creativity. Don't lose yours. I'm saying don't lose yours because so many people are caught up in the AI today that I think they're just like everything creative ever. Let's put it in Chat GPT. Well, what about sitting? Me and you were talking. What about going on your bike and thinking about something? What about going down to your office and being in front of a white page and starting to tell your story? So let's talk creativity. Let's go. Mole, Debbie Griffin says moles and freckles are angels kisses. So see, some people agree with me there. So go on, Tom. Well, let's talk creativity and let's get through this.
Yeah, man. So there's a couple of things here, right? Like, first of all, when it comes to AI, right? There's some specific things I want to talk about when it comes to AI and AI's use for creative work, right? And the truth of the matter is that AI is not creative and it's not good at doing creative work. And there's a really good reason for that. Is that essentially what AI algorithms do is they take in a ton of information and then they use that information to craft answers to the questions you ask of it and or to complete the tasks that you assign it, right? So basically what it's doing is recycling already existing work, written work, image work, whatever it is, right? Whatever you're asking it to do, it's taking already existing work and recombining it, recycling it to create answers, or to deliver, I should say, answers to your questions, or to complete tasks that you assign to it. But it does not create, right? Creativity, like the word create, is really key to think about when you talk about creativity, because AI does not create anything, right? It does recycle, it does recombine, right? But it does not create. And so AI is terrible at creative work. And when it comes down to real creative work, AI is not the right place to go. AI is a great place for refinement of creative work. It's a great place for doing sort of mundane and repetitive tasks that you don't want to do. Like, I use it for, like, for example, I've used it for budgeting for projects, right? It's a great tool to use for that, right? You can ask it to create a budget for you. You can give it some parameters and it'll spit out a really complete, comprehensive budget that you can then use as a starting point to tweak for your project. So there's a lot of ways to use AI. It's a great tool. I'm not saying it's not. What I am saying is it ain't creative, right? So don't rely on AI for your creativity. And then the other thing is, one of the struggles that I hear a lot of people talk about, I've worked against this myself as well. Like, this is a hurdle that I've had to overcome in my career working in a creative industry, right? As I have for my entire professional life. And the issue is, the stumbling block that a lot of people hit is, you really can't force creativity, right? Creativity is something that kind of has to happen of its own volition to some extent, right? That ultimately creativity, I think, relies on our ability to embrace sort of chaos and entropy, and make leaps to reach new places, to create new things, using a variety of things that we already know, things that we're currently experiencing, new research, et cetera, to take all these things, combine them, and use a little bit of chaos, right? A little bit of entropy to help inform our ability to make that leap forward into something new. And AI doesn't possess that, but it's hard to sort of trigger that. So what I've found is, while you can't force creativity, you can't buckle down and be creative, right? The same way you could buckle down and do data entry, right? Or buckle down and work on a budget, right? You can't do that with creativity, but what you can do, I've found, and what I've encouraged, I have in the past, when other people have talked to me about this, I've encouraged them to do, is to create favorable conditions for creativity. So for me, this is just my personal experience. One of the things that really helps me when it comes to creative work is doing something that is repetitive but does not occupy a lot of mental capacity. So for me, that manifests as going for a run, going for a ride on my bike, right? Less so with swimming. It's not as productive. And I think it's because I can't look around it much. There's nothing really for me to look at. And that lack of stimulation actually is works against me. Um, but yeah, going for a run, going for a ride, doing sort of repetitive things that don't occupy a lot of brain space, that don't take a lot of mental capacity, but do allow your mind to wander and to kind of embrace those leaps, those kind of what ifs. Like, that's how I experience those sort of leaps. I'll be thinking about a problem or a project or thing, and I'll just kind of go, well, what if this? Or what if that? Or what if we did this way? Or what if we did that way? And I can kind of think through the problem and think through the solution and come up with something novel as a result of going through that process. So that's the way I sort of foster creative work and creative breakthroughs for myself. So while I acknowledge you can't really just buckle down and tell yourself to be more creative and find success that way. I think you can, under pressure, create circumstances that are favorable to creative thinking, and then use that to your advantage to be able to deliver creative work on a deadline. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people really struggle with, is they have a hard time meeting deadlines, making those dates with their creative work, because they don't understand how to sort of foster it and how to trigger it. And so that's my take on it. So what do you think, Tom? I know you work with a ton of people. You work in a creative field as well. In publishing, you work with a lot of authors, and I'm sure a lot of them struggle with like staring at a blank page.
Yeah, yeah. You said that. That's probably and Debbie's written, Julie's written some books here. So yeah. I think for me, the thing that I would suggest or try to help is control as many variables as you can. So like if where I am at right now is my office, it's my studio per se. It is where I sit a certain way, I look at certain pictures, I look at things that inspire me. I am in a quiet place, I am away from other activities. I have certain days of the week where I call, I've said it on here before, I call Friday Creative Friday. I quit taking calls at a certain time. Even though making money or having more calls or whatever could help me, I quit taking calls at a certain time. I call that Creative Friday. And usually at that time, I am in this space or in another space that I've chosen to where I can create at best. So I've had authors who pick a chair in their house, they go to a space in the library, uh, they go for a walk, but finding that space where all of a sudden for you, like Tom said, if it's riding your bike, yeah, riding your bike. I Cutting grass is one for me. I can cut grass, and that, like you said, mundane. Now put me with my own thoughts for that long, and I could go crazy too. But control creativity, control the variables. Day of the week, that phone calls aren't coming in, texts aren't coming in, that you're not inclined to check social media 15 times. I would suggest control as many variables as you can. Now, we're going to go to Debbie Griffith, Julie, Tricia, but I want to say, Dr. Tachi, Debbie wrote a book in about a month one time. She went from having never written a book to writing in less than a month, I believe. So, Debbie, you figured it out there. So, do you have any tips to give us on how, like, it took me 7 years to write my first book, Debbie. So, you did it, what, 700 times faster than me first time. So what kind of tips do you got for us, Debbie?
Good morning. Actually, it was a little bit longer than a month, but who's really counting? My story, the book I wrote, entailed details that had happened to me many years prior. And I think it was just more or less, I always joke, it was 25 years in the making, 5 weeks to write it. It just was time to just pour it all out. But I used timelines. I, was organized, scheduled to use a calendar to schedule time to write every day because I was still working at a full-time job. And just kind of paced myself using, basically structure to keep myself on task. But that is the kind of person that I am. I like processes and procedures and keeping things going. So I meet those deadlines or more or less try to exceed those deadlines. But this is a great topic because I just wrote about being in a funk, because I was in a funk last week. And when I was talking about it, I just wrote an article on it. And a lot of times what happens is, being in a funk, it's because we're doing kind of the same thing over and over and over again. And we do sometimes need to change things up. The best time for me to get ideas, ironically, is in the shower. I don't know why, but in the shower, I get, sparked with ideas. But it was almost like what Tom was saying, go outside, go do something, change things up, because sometimes being in a funk, it thrives on sameness. So you have to check your mood from time to time and change things up and do just even little increment things to make it seem like you're winning at something, and that builds the momentum to get back on the bicycle, if you want to call it like that. So thank you.
That's great. Thanks, Debbie. And yeah, I mean, I think uh, one of the things that I wanted to highlight there that you said that I think is really important is that some people will turn around and go, well, I don't know what that thing is for me, right? Like, I don't know what the bike riding is or the mowing the lawn or whatever that structure, that sort of creative environment is for me. And I think you hit on something great there, Debbie, when you just said, just go try things, right? I think that a lot of people get frustrated really quickly with not knowing off the bat, when the truth is that I didn't know, and for years, like for most of my career, I only kind of got into endurance sports really in the last 7 years or so. So like prior to that, for the first like 17 years of my career, endurance sports weren't an outlet for me. To be perfectly honest, what it was for me, it was kind of similar, but also uh, opposite. But often when I got stuck on a problem, I would go walk around the block and have a cigarette. Like that was sort of like I had to remove myself from the situation, get away from my desk, get out of the chair, move, and just kind of like have 5-10 minutes to just think through something. And that's the way I would do it. So it's kind of opposite. Now I go for a run. I used to go have a cigarette. So kind of polar opposites, but in terms of like behaviorally, it's sort of similar, right? It's a mundane task, doesn't take a lot of brain power, right? I'm moving. So I was walking, now I run, but like there are some similarities there, as opposite as it sounds. But I just wanted to highlight that, Debbie, I think that was a really good point, is just try things. And if it doesn't work, like what's the worst case scenario? You went for a walk, like, oh no, so I mean, I don't know. I think that was a great point, Debbie, and I just wanted to highlight that. What do you think, Dom?
I'm in this idea of creativity here, and as you said, try it, go for it, right? So thinking of these ideas is so fun. How many of us have 1,000? I have 1,000 ideas, right? And having ideas is fun, and we get caught up in I'm going to start a lima bean company. I'm going to start a flower company. I have a million ideas like that. But and then some people are like, well, I'm not going to do anything. I have this idea. So, like Tom said, try it, and then I want people to see it through to completion. Meaning, nah, you don't have to start the lime bean company, but take it one step farther, one step farther. Okay, I got an idea. Write it down on paper. I got an idea. Look something up. And then just keep moving it. I'm always talking about moving it forward, moving it forward. But I have idea. Oh, that would never work. I have idea. Well, somebody else already did it. Have your idea and keep moving forward. And then all of a sudden, your lima bean company, my lima bean company may just be real someday. So that's what I have, Tom.
One of these days we're gonna have to have a chat about your lima bean company. I know I'm curious as to what exactly
Yeah.
that means.
Hey, if my wife Liz is watching, I have my first person that is somewhat interested in my lima beans. Everybody else hates my lima beans. This is the first person.
Well, okay, hold on. So I will say this. And Liz, if you're listening, I'll say this. This is for your benefit, right? So this doesn't get held over you. That somebody supports Dom's lima bean idea. I don't know what the idea is. I'm just curious because who talks about a lima bean company, right? Like I've never heard anybody say that sentence before, or that phrase before, my lima bean company. So like that got me curious. Once he tells me the idea, I might think it's a terrible idea. So I might be on Team Liz once you tell me the idea, but I just wanted to give that sort of proviso. I don't know what this is yet.
Okay, we're good. We're good. Not the smartest guys. We're talking creativity, talking lima beans. We're talking how to be creative, where to be creative. Julie Loken, the founder of Creative Con, an event that believes entrepreneurs use creativity in a million different ways. Julie, any tips on being creative from you?
Yeah, I can't get over the lima bean thing, to be honest. Dom, come on, lima bean company, that is hilarious.
See, Lima. There's
I
more
mean,
to. Yeah,
lima beans are the food that all kids hate, that
for
they
now.
push to the side or give to the dog under the
Jim, my
table.
friend Jim Aj, don't tell Liz we're talking about my lima beans. This is real. I'll be in my basement doing it soon. Okay,
How do you make money off of
I
lima
don't
beans?
know all that yet. Julie, give us some ideas about being creative. What do you got?
Well, it's like really getting into that flow state, right? When you are just doing the thing. I know I am just exuding creativity when it's just like feels like a download from the universe and I don't know where it's coming from but it feels so good, so right. And getting into that, I find when I'm at my computer, like everybody was saying, and you're in that fixed mindset and you can't force it, like everyone said. And I also find when I tap into just daydreaming, let my mind wander, and also just doodling. I always have a pen in my hand and I have notebooks of just doodles. I don't know why that helps me with my creativity, but that's all I got. And I can't wait to hear more about the business plan for the Lima Bean Company.
Hey, will do. I I put no. I would suggest if people aren't, put some notebooks by your bed and around your house and stuff like that. If you got ideas, write them down. But Tom, what do you got on this? Tom says Tom's going to get nerdy. He says we're in the back channel. He said he's going to get nerdy. So, oh my goodness, go on.
Wait, when is Tom not nerdy though? With his big words.
And his big head. Go on.
All right. Well, I'm gonna throw some more big words at you there, Julie. So buckle up. Here we go. All right. So this just when Julie was talking about like that sort of that feeling of like getting a download from the universe, right? So here's what I think that is, right? When I was in college, I studied psychology and I did a little bit of work in cognitive science. And my senior project was studying the effects of punctuated equilibria on evolution. And so what that means basically in layman's terms is
There we go. Everybody, write that down.
I told you. So what that means basically in layman's terms is, we think of evolution generally speaking as like sort of like a steady 45-degree angle on a line graph, right? Like we think of evolution just kind of like going steadily up, 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 right? But there's a theory that evolution actually takes place in sort of leaps and bounds, right? That there are long periods of sort of plateaus in evolution where, like, relatively speaking, species are unchanged. And then an event happens, right? Some sort of event happens in the environment that triggers an evolutionary adaptation, right? That sort of highlights one mutation's ability to survive, and then that mutation takes over sort of precedence or priority in breeding habits, and so we see it more. It becomes more prevalent in the grouping, and so all of a sudden we see a sharp increase in evolutionary adaptation, and then it sort of plateaus again, right? That's what punctuated equilibria refers to. And so I think something similar happens with creative work and with creativity. And what I am doing, what I believe I'm doing, and what I think a lot of other people are doing when they get into what they call flow state, right, is basically I'm creating an opportunity where I'm doing a task that doesn't use my full mental capacity and creating the opportunity for my mind to wander, right? And what happens is, as my mind starts to wander and I start having a bunch of different thoughts, what I create is, in essence, in my thinking, in my creative thinking, a moment of punctuated equilibria, a moment that enables me to sort of leap forward in my thinking, in my creativity, and sort of create something new, right? To kind of take that leap forward in my thinking. And so that's when I was talking about embracing entropy earlier, right? That theory that like a little bit of chaos is a good thing. So similar kind of thinking that basically enabling my mind to wander allows me to stumble onto a problem or an issue or a thought that forces me to take a leap forward, that triggers that sort of punctuated equilibrium. And all of a sudden, you see this rapid acceleration in creative thinking and problem solving. And that is what we're talking about when we talk about that download, right? That's what the end result of when we're talking about flow state, that's the end result that we experience, right? What I think it really is creating opportunity for us to embrace this kind of thought that punctuated equilibria kind of supercharges or accelerates adaptation and or in this case creativity. So that's kind of my thinking on it. So like I said, I was going to get a little bit nerdy. I warned you in the back channel, and you know, Julie said she was expecting me to throw out some big words. So hopefully I satisfied that. But that's my thought. I think it's kind of related.
Punctuated equilibria. Dom needs to translate this now.
Okay, I'm gonna. Let's. I don't even know. I'm reading down at what Jason said he wanted to add. So, Jason, you wanted to jump on that. Then we're going to Trisha and Dr. Jason. Quick thought on what Tom said. Then we're going to Trisha and Dr.
I want to challenge Sean just on his verbiage. If you took out that word creative and all that dissertation you said, wouldn't it be better to say to construct? Because you're losing. It lost my attention. I'm like, oh, dude, that's just like, well, where are you really going with this? You know, where's the clear point? Because people just they glitch out. You know, so would it be better to say to construct? You know, instead of using the word creative so much?
Tom,
I mean,
go on.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe like I'm not exact. If you said if there was a specific place where you thought it would have been more appropriate to use the word constructing rather than creative, then maybe. But without like, I don't know, without a specific use case or example, it's hard for me to say. Just generally,
What does the word creative mean? Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Forget the nitty gritty. Forget the nitty gritty. But you're fair point. And we come on here and we don't have like scripts or anything like that. So to your point, Jason. Yeah, if you probably workshop a segment, I know I might have some ums and ands, and when I clip it, I take all that out and stuff like that. So yeah, could me or Tom use a word different? Yeah, probably. So fair point. Or be more concise. Yeah. Could we get this all down to 90 seconds? I was studying trends today and they said like how hot short form content is. Yeah. You know, so all right, not the smartest guys in the room. We're going to Trisha and Dr. Tachi, then we're coming back around to everybody. We got Tom's Thumbs, we got Show and Tell, and we got more on these topics. So Trisha, what say you on creativity?
Hey, good morning. So when I got in the room, I believe it was Tom that was saying that, you know, AI takes away your creativity. And I'm going to have to push back on that a little bit because I think that for me, when I go on to AI, it kind of sparks my creativity a little bit because it makes me think about different things. I don't necessarily stay on the AI then, but it sparks me to think about other things. And I kind of branch off. So it gives me kind of like thoughts about things. And then I kind of go off and create other things based on that. Or I research other things. He talks about researching stuff and looking into things. And that's what AI does for me. It kind of gets me to go in a different direction and start thinking about other things. So I wouldn't say AI really takes away my creativity, but it sparks things in me to create other things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely, Trisha. And I just to clarify what I was saying earlier when you came into the room, I wasn't saying that AI takes away other people's creativity. What I was saying is that AI itself is bad at creative work, right? That like ChatGPT or Claude or whatever AI you want to talk about, whatever large language model AI program that you're using or interface you're using, it is bad at creative work. I'm not saying it takes creativity away from people. I don't think that's the case. In fact, I would agree with you, and I would argue that using AI as a sort of sounding board to further your creative work is probably a good use of AI. It's probably a good way to kind of bounce ideas, right? Get some feedback on them and then iterate and move forward, right? So I think actually that's a good way to use AI. But AI in and of itself is bad at creative work. And I would say, don't ship your creative work to AI, right? You have to do it yourself, but you can use AI as a tool to further your creative work, right? If that makes sense. There's a little bit of nuance in there, and I know I'm splitting hairs a little bit, but I just wanted to try to clarify that based on your feedback. I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Okay,
Go
thank
on.
you. Yeah, no, thank you for that. And I appreciate that because I was like, I don't know. I use AI a lot and I do use it to kind of spark off where I'm going. But also the other thing that you mentioned, Dom, about the notebooks, I have notebooks everywhere. I purchase tons of notebooks and I actually have them all over the house so that whenever I think of something, I jot it down. And I also, have conversations with other people so that I can kind of use my creativity to say, what do you think about this? And it helps me to kind of continue my creativity. So I love that about the notebooks. Thank you so much.
One other thing, Trisha, I would just say that just popped into my head, I wanted to add on to this is that if you're using AI as sort of a sounding board, right, or as a way to spur your own creativity, what I would encourage you to do is whenever you prompt it or you give it an idea or you ask for feedback on something, what I would suggest you include in that prompt is for the AI to be brutally honest, do not hold back, right? Do not, because like most AI is sort of designed to play nice with the user, right? And not be sort of brutally honest with its users because they want people to feel good about using it, right? So that kind of makes sense. But at the same time, what that means is if you put in an idea and you say, hey, is this plausible? Give me feedback. Why or why not might this work? Without giving it the prompt to don't hold back in your critique, often it'll come back and just say, yeah, that's a great idea. It'll totally work. Well done. Right. And it's like, that doesn't really help anybody. Like just having a bunch of cheering, like a cheering squad that all they do is pat you on the back and tell you you're fantastic doesn't actually help you grow or improve or iterate on a creative process. So I just wanted to add that because, yeah, it'll have a tendency to just pat you on the back and say job well done if you don't include that kind of language in your prompts.
Tom, I wanted to jump in. I have a friend that does some high level business consulting, and somebody came to him recently with like the most like a young up and comer came to him with a business plan, and he looks at it first and he was like, "This is so well put together," and he's like, "How did you do this?" And she says, "I used AI." And then they went further down, and she was going to start a business. They went further down into the business plan. This guy's been very successful. They went further down into it. He said, all this information's wrong. The statistics were wrong. The numbers as when you would hit, well, if you did this many sales and this much, you'll make this much money. Well, you can't even do that in your market because there's not that many people or there's not that many buyers. So it was a complete miss. But it looked like a business plan. So, okay, not the smartest guys in the room. Creativity, don't lose yours. Dr. Tachi, Jason, we're coming. We're going to go around the room, get some more tips. But before we do all that, it's the time of the day that people like to bash on Tom for. And but Tom, this is Tom's Thumbs. We asked Tom something about pop culture, media, and get his thoughts. He has to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. A couple weeks ago, they said that food was pop culture too. So today, for Tom's Thumbs, I want to know pumpkin spice, thumbs up or thumbs down?
So, this is a tough one. I think I'm going to end up, I mean, there's no two ways about it, right? Some people are going to like this, some people aren't. Is what it is, right? So off the cuff, as Dom mentioned before, we don't have any scripts. We don't rehearse any of this in advance. I literally had no idea that he was going to ask me about pumpkin spice today. So without further ado, here we go. Pumpkin spice gets a thumbs down. Here's why. Pumpkin spice as a flavor combination is kind of a bit of a misnomer, right? Because there is no pumpkin in it. It is simply the spice blend that is typically used for pumpkin pie, right? So it's cinnamon, nutmeg, a little bit of allspice, right? So a combination of spices that typically would go into pumpkin pie. I think it's great in pumpkin pie. I like pumpkin pie. It's also similar to the spice blend that you would use in sweet potato pie, which also I think is delicious, right? So I like the flavor. What I don't like is putting it in freaking everything. Like, stop it. Stop making it in candles. Stop putting it in your coffee. Stop putting it in your like everything. It's just in your God, in your ice cream. There's syrups. There's like, I mean, just all. It's absurd, right? Is absolutely out of control. There's no need for it. It's like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a metaphor, and I'm actually drawing a blank. I can't think of a good one. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think this is what happens when something gets a little bit of traction and then just gets beaten into the ground, right? Just gets beaten to death. It is overdone. It is overused. It is over seasoned and overspiced. Stop it. Leave it in the pie, and get it out of everything else. So for all of those reasons, I think pumpkin spice gets a thumbs down unless it's pumpkin pie, in which case, cut me a slice.
Nice take. Well done, Tom. Except I hate what you said, and I love pumpkin beer. Man, pumpkin beer, Blockhouse, it's the best. It's like a pumpkin pie in a bottle. Dr. Tachi, Tom, you agree? Well, it's a pumpkin pie in a bottle. I mean, how could that not be good?
Because it's supposed to be beer. I don't want to drink a pumpkin pie with a little bit of beer flavoring. That's awful.
Hey, you know what I did the other day that you won't appreciate, but Liz, my lovely wife, got us some pumpkin coffee to make at the house. I'm trying to weed myself off of milk because it makes me bloat. I told you guys that one day. But so now I have chocolate almond milk here rather than regular almond milk. So I got the pumpkin pie coffee. I'm putting all my sugar in it, and I didn't realize I put chocolate almond milk in it, and it was even better. I might start another business.
What business is that going to be? The awful, ridiculous, like pour everything in a cup and hope it tastes good coffee company?
With sugar. You got it. They do. That's called the Sabrina Carpenter at Dunkin' Donuts. What,
Random shit in a mug coffee company?
Jason just commented. He says it's a cult. Julie says she's worried about me. Soma says pumpkin spice people are a tribe. Well, we got some people walking around with pumpkin spice shirts on. Hey, I have a marketing idea where it's like give people what they want. I love when people like tire companies are like, now now we have pumpkin spice tires, it says on their sign, because everybody's, people are looking at it right now. Okay, we're moving on. Dr. Tachi, what say you on creativity and pumpkin spice? Go on. Then we're coming to you, Jason. Go on, Dr. Tachi. Anybody else come on up or send us a message?
Good morning. Let's start with pumpkin spice. I love the flavor of pumpkin with the spices, as I said, and the thing, but it's become overly commercialized. And I think the thing that makes me detest it is because the pumpkin spice comes with the stupid fashion, the stupid people, and the stupid music that comes with. I can't stand it. So, like Tom said, leave it for the.
Are you, Dr. Tachi, are you saying you don't like Counting Crows? That's like the kind of music that pumpkin spice is. Come on. Pumpkin spice is cool.
Says you. Okay. I not that I don't like Counting Crows. No. It's that the stupid people who like the whole pumpkin spicery, that's what it is, the pumpkin spicery of it, have gravitated towards music like Counting Crows. They messed it up. So, sorry.
You're good. Now let's hear creativity. What do you got?
Yes. So this is something for me. I often go to, because I'm also a writer. I like to go into writing rooms where there are writing prompts, because I think the default for so many people now is to use AI to help you do things, that you start to lose some creativity when it comes to writing. So, because I do use AI to help with writing things for, because I'm posting for other people on social media, etc. And I'm not going to sit there and, I mean, I have in the past, but to save time, AI is helpful. I just have to tweak some things to make it sound like the brand voice. But in that, you can start to rely too heavily on AI to do things. So, number one, when I'm doing that, I make sure that I'm writing it out first and then letting AI kind of format it for me, so I don't have to think about the proper formatting. Even if I put something out of place, it will put it back in place. Then number two, in terms of my own writing and creativity, I like to go into, a friend of mine does a writer's room in the mornings, and she'll give a prompt, and then we all just have to write about it. That helps with my creativity so much, because it's the same reason I write in cursive all the time, because I don't want to lose that, because it's easier to type or print something, right? So that's my tip. If it's something that you fear losing the creativity for, you want to foster, expose yourself to it even more, in situations with it even more. Like, for example, writers' rooms. If you like to draw, which I also do some drawing prompts. There are all sorts of rooms, not just here, but in different places where you can get that. And you can even, use AI to help you create a week full of prompts or a month full of prompts that you can do, and then just write it out on your own or create it on your own. So that would be my tip. I rest.
I mean, I think those are all great suggestions, Dr. Tachi. And I think it's one of those things that, like any other work, right? Any other skill set, you got to put in the practice, right? You have to do it over and over again to get better at it. You have to work those creative muscles in order for them to not atrophy, to not lose them. And I think those are all great suggestions on ways to do that. But I think that's one of the important things, is that creativity, just like any other exercise, right? It's a mental exercise, but just like any other exercise, you have to do it regularly and repeatedly in order to get better at it, to build those muscles up, and to improve over time. So I appreciate that. I think those were all great suggestions. What do you think, Dom?
100%. Also, like she mentioned about the writing room and stuff, I love the idea of getting around other creatives that stimulate you, asking them questions. Here, you're in a group where people don't think it's weird to talk about. Give me an idea about, like Debbie just threw in the comment, lima beans that are flavored like pumpkins. Okay, we're just throwing out ideas. It's okay. It is okay. You get around these people that think a different way, and all of a sudden you start, hey, it's okay to talk about business. It's okay to talk about videos. It's okay to talk about this book. It's okay to have new ideas. So surround yourself. What is it? You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So get around some creatives. That's what I got for you. Okay, Tom.
Just clarify real quick. What Debbie suggested was pumpkin spice flavored lima beans, not lima beans flavored like pumpkin.
Pumpkin spice flavored lima beans. Pumpkin spice flavored lima. Isn't that the same thing?
No, because pumpkin spice has no pumpkin flavor.
We could drizzle a little pumpkin spice on some lima beans. Debbie, you got it figured out. Okay, Jason, we're coming. Creativity, don't lose yours. What do you got? Oh, you got a thought on that? You got a thought on pumpkin first creativity or
I'm gonna
pumpkin
have to
spice?
go
You
with
got both.
Tom. I want to create a coffee cup. There shall be no pumpkin spice in my cup. You know, so if they ask what's in it, it's not going to be pumpkin spice. Um, Have I tried it? Yes. Not really a fan of it. I like coffee for the sake of coffee, and I don't need extra. Like, yeah, it's not my thing. But as far as creative, it's like for me, staying creative is remembering that it doesn't always have to be done at once. And sometimes one idea really inspires something better, to construct something that really works. And it's not like when people are thinking like the creative process, I need to have it so individualized or make it customized and I stand out. I was listening to different theorists and content creators talk about that. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, but you can definitely craft the wheel to perform better for you. And just so many people have done it. So why beat yourself up over it? If you have an idea to paint something and someone's done it or taken a picture or write a script about, like, look at the Matrix, the writer of the Matrix, she wrote that book inspired about Jesus Christ. She literally said that in some interviews. And I was like, what? And that's kind of a nice sci-fi twist. What was he really teaching? Not that I'm going into Christianity, but it's like, how can you spin something different? you know how can you, like, for example, you look at directors like Quentin Tarantino. When he spun Reservoir Dogs, it was all the craze, and then Pulp Fiction comes out and people are like, oh my god, this is so great. It's taking everything that would have been in a progressive order, reverse it, change it, and encapsulate people's mindsets to inspire, to do and draw in and make them think. So as far as creativity, there's times where you're on fire and go with it, and there's times where it's like, oh man, I feel like I'm just stuck in a warm bath water and I just need to get out. So walk around, do things that interest you, and don't be afraid to share it. But to your lima bean business, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a creative process, and I wouldn't tell anybody about your process or details until it's done, because there will always be a cynic or a critic. That's it.
Jason, good stuff. Good message, man. You're on point today. Appreciate you being here. Julie wanted to comment, I think, on lima beans. Julie? What do you got? What do you got? You came up there for a second.
No, I didn't. Sorry, apologies.
See, I was just like trying to crowbar in some support for my my lima bean business. Nope. Okay, but I love this idea of one thing Jason was talking about there is you can be creative, you can have this idea, and you're allowed to put the idea on hold. That doesn't mean that the idea is bad. I wrote something 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1,000 things started. It's still a good idea. The season for that idea might have passed. That doesn't mean the season doesn't come back around again. The idea is there. It had a root, it had a seed. I planted it, I watered it. I'm not watering it as much right now. I'm not, what do you call that? Heating, whatever, you tilling the garden right now. But the idea is there. I can go back to that idea. So don't give up on those ideas. All right, Tom, I think you came off for a second. What say you?
Well, I think we've gotten through everybody who's up here with us. So I think we're creeping up on our other favorite segment, where you always bring something out that has a story to it. I don't know if it's going to be a lima bean or something with pumpkin spice in it, or one of your other. We had a little discussion going in the back channel. Dom and I did just a few minutes ago, and I said that. Oh, now I can't scroll up. I can't see what I said. Oh no. Let me see if I can get to it real quick. But basically, I was saying that that pumpkin spice everything is sort of the epitome of kind of suburban, white suburban women culture, right? And Dom was saying that he's a white suburban lady at heart, and then went on, and I said, I asked him, does he go for walks with a weighted vest on? Because walking around the neighborhood isn't hard enough on its own. And he said, actually, I do have a rucksack that I use for walks, that I can put weights in, and also. He likes pumpkin spice everything. He likes to lay by the pool and get a tan in the summer. So I think we've discovered, and Dom, I mean, you said it yourself that you are a suburban white lady at heart. So so I just wanted to share that with the group, and see what you have to show and tell us about.
I'm not ashamed of this, but then at the same time, I'm going to show you how tough I am on the other way, how tough and cool. And in honor of Halloween, I'm going to. So a couple months ago, I think I showed one time some clay pigeons that I shoot. My friend Jim's here, and he knows I hit every one of them. So today, in honor of Halloween, because I shoot at times, I'm going to show you my targets that I shoot at. But these aren't just any targets. We put these are zombie targets. So I always say if the end of the world's coming and zombies come, I have guns to shoot at zombies. I do have guns, and I look at them with my son, and we go shoot, or I shoot with my friends. But these are my zombie targets. Put these up, man. I kill a zombie every time. So what you are looking at is my zombie targets, Tom. One's got no arm. This guy's got no arm here. Uh, oh, here's another zombie target. Yeah, see how different they are. So that's what you're seeing today. My my shooting skills. I am not just a suburban white lady. I am also out in the hills shooting zombies. I can do it all. That's what I want to show you today. My zombie target stuff.
So I appreciate that. I like that. I mean, I also do some target shooting, like to do skeet shooting, right? It's a good time, it's fun, it's a good challenge, right? It's good hand-eye coordination, all those things. But I have a question about one of those targets there. And specifically, I want to know, why is that zombie dressed up like a court jester from the Renaissance fair? Like, what is happening there? Is that, I mean, like that is peak suburban white lady zombie target, right? Like, you just got back from the Renaissance fair, or you're at the Renaissance fair, and the court jester got bitten and becomes a zombie, and you got to put him down.
Well, I have an answer for that, and
Okay.
Dr. Tachi's asking too. You guys obviously don't know anything about zombies, because when the zombie apocalypse comes, the disease hits everybody all over. So yeah, there's probably people at the Renaissance Festival that were dressed as jesters,
So
and
are
there's
we?
probably bride and grooms that the zombie bug took over them too. So of course there'd be jesters and bride and grooms. You guys need to step up your zombie knowledge.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that for a second. I thought you were going to chastise me for not being open-minded about zombies liking to dress up in costumes too, or something.
Like even the furry convention, we have furry convention in Pittsburgh, and if the zombies came that weekend, the furries were here, the furries would turn into zombies. Don't be so judgy. So that's your show and tell today. I see some comments here that I want to handle here. The the Renaissance Festival, yeah, they could be there. Jim Aj says Dom can't shoot. He'd be more effective just throwing the gun at somebody. He is wrong. I am like trained assassin, so I just keep getting better. So
We're supposed to ask you about the groundhog in your backyard.
well, one, it was a possum. And it was attacking my house. It was live and heading towards my back door. And this was before I knew that possums were good for the environment. So I had to keep it from entering my back door. And I live in like a residential neighborhood, and you were there's a college near me. So I took out one gun. I missed it a couple times. I don't think it was the right gun. Then I took out another gun, started shooting in the backyard. So I'm like handguns, then like a small AR, and then another gun, and I'm like aiming down towards like the college. But finally, I didn't realize that this possums have a small brain, so even if you hit it, you're not killing the possum, because the brain, it's still alive and moving, and it was attacking my back door. So, to Jimmy's aunt's question there, I did finally rid our earth of the possum that was trying to break into my house, but it did take a couple shots.
I'd be willing to guess. Just going to take pardon the pun, take a shot in the dark here. Kind of like what you were doing when you were trying to hit that possum, apparently. But I would bet that if it was attacking your back door, right? And your back door is a sliding, just for everybody's reference here, it's a sliding glass door, right? Patio door, right? Very common. I would guess that it was doing that because it could see its reflection in the door. I would guess that if it was attacking the door, it probably was attacking it because it saw its reflection and it thought it was another possum. And I'd be willing to bet that if you just, messed around with the light a little bit, or, kind of turned the lights on full or something like that, it might have just realized that there was no other possum there and kind of wandered off, without you having to endanger the buildings down the road at the college by taking pot shots at it as it ran away. So anyway, that's my thought. Yeah, maybe Jim's right. Maybe you should have just thrown the gun at it and scared it away.
Well, I took care of that possum, and that's all you need to know. So, okay, before we get to wrap up, what do you think, Tom? Can we get one more 20-second tip from everybody on creativity?
I think one sentence. Just give us a
One
one
sentence on
sentence.
creativity. If you pause, you don't go. So Jason's thorough. So we're starting with Jason, Julie, Dr. Tachi, Trisha, Debbie. Go on, Jason. One thought on creativity. Go.
Go with an idea and don't ask others' opinions.
Yeah, there you go. Good stuff. Julie.
I can't even lima beans.
She loves lima beans. Go. Dr. Tachi.
Don't look at it only as a way to make money.
Great. Trisha.
Show up and listen.
Well done, Debbie.
And if you get stuck, change your routine.
Well done. I'm going to just give it a go for it. And Tom, what do you got? Wrap us up. Give us your thought. Give us your tip. What do you got, Tom? Put it all together. Pumpkin spice, zombies, guns, creativity. I don't even know, man. So what do you got for us?
Well, so as the I'm going to take longer than a sentence, but I feel empowered to do that as the co-host of Not the Smartest Guys in the Room, as one of the not the smartest guys in the room. That's some fantastic English right there. Anyway, here's what I got for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a tip in the form of a little explanation on how I went through the process of writing my book. And the reason why I want to share this is because I, like many other people, when it comes to writing, I have a really hard time, and writing is like kind of one of the best ways to embody this for me. But I have to start with something. I cannot start from a blank page, right? Some people can sit down with a blank page and it just kind of flows out of them, right? Some people can do that. Some people can start with a blank slate and create from there. I'm not good at creative work that way, right? I have to have a starting point that spurs some thought, spurs some creative ideas that allows me to kind of move forward. So here's how I used that to my advantage to write my book. And credit where credit is due. This was not my idea. This was the idea of my publisher. And so she gets full credit for this. World Changers Media. She's great. She gets full credit for this idea. But Dom and I have talked about this before, and it's something that I think he's done something similar with some of his authors. So apparently it's a publisher's trick that I didn't know about. So anyway, here's what we did. Because I have this difficulty with overcoming that blank page, and I get sort of caught in a circle of repetitive non-work, right? Trouble getting started, failure to launch, so to speak. What I did was we first, created the outline for the book. So there was structure, which is not really super creative, but that's something you can just kind of buckle down and do, I think. So we wrote the outline of the book, kind of created the backbone of it, the structure of it. And then we went through, and my publisher took the time to basically interview me on each sort of section of the book, ask me questions, have me explain to her my thinking on things, and tell stories that supported my thinking, that explained how I got to those conclusions, right? What we then did, we recorded all of those interviews. What we then did was transcribe those interviews, right, using AI, and then use those transcripts. I use those transcripts to actually as the sort of starting place to write each chapter, right? So that was so over the course of a year, every week we sat down for like 90 minutes to 2 hours and talked. And I was interviewed on the subjects and the stories and so on and so forth, and went through and then used those transcripts to write the book. And that's how the book got written, right? So if you struggle with kind of having like if you struggle with getting started with creative work, don't be afraid to embrace a methodology that sort of seems outside of a direct line forward in that pursuit, right? So the interviews seemed tangential to me at first, but the more we did it, the more it made sense, and the more quickly we were able to sort of construct the book out of these transcripts of these interviews. So that would be my suggestion: is don't ever hesitate to find something that you can use to sort of jumpstart your creative work, right? Do an interview, bounce an idea off of AI, talk to a friend, write something down, reread it back to yourself, whatever the case may be. Whatever works for you is what works for you, and it's great. So that's my suggestion. That's my tip. Use it at your own peril. Hopefully it helps. And if it doesn't, sorry in advance. So that's all I got for this week. We'll leave it there. Thank you guys for all being here. Appreciate you supporting me in my solid thumbs down of pumpkin spice everything. Leave the pumpkin spice where it belongs, in the pumpkin pie. So thanks for your support on that. And we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. You guys are the reason why we do this every week. For Dom, I'm Tom. We are not the smartest guys in the room. And until we see you again, we hope all of you have a great rest of your week and a great weekend. We love you. We appreciate you. We thank you. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.